This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
I'm kind of on the outs with Little People of America.
Oh.
So I tried getting on a dating site once, and they would not let me on there because I am not a little person.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
You're tapering yourself down from your hangover or whatever. Oh no, when that started rolling into a whole another entire day of drinking, it just didn't stop.
June 18th, 2022. My name's Corey Winfield.
My name is Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast, where we talk about our lives in recovery, our lives in general. Some people are like, I listened to the last podcast and I was hoping for more inspiration, what to do with my son. And I don't know. Sometimes it's going to be that way. Sometimes we talk about movies and going to meetings with the mayor and see. Yeah, the last podcast, that's what I was talking about. And yeah, I had to physically go to the meeting. Like when we were doing the podcast, you thought I had to like Zoom it or something.
Yeah.
That's why you're like, you have to put pants on for that? Yeah. Like, yeah, this one I probably should. And made it 2 minutes before I was supposed to be there. So I was early.
Well, it's funny because like everything's telehealth and Zoom now, it seems like. So when you said you had a meeting, I just automatically made the assumption that it was going to be over Zoom.
Yeah, especially when I'm sitting here in a t-shirt and boxers and my meeting is at 1:45 and it's 1:22.
Yeah, so I kind of was like, okay.
It takes 15 minutes to get there. Yeah, clearly it would be a Zoom.
I said, you're going to make it. Okay.
Yeah, and then had to go into cartoon mode. But it went well. He thanked me for being early. The 2 minutes early that I was. It was like an interview to be on the Human Rights Commission.
What do you hear?
I don't know. I should have asked him that question because he was like, "Any questions?" And I asked him something, but that would have been a good one. When are you going to make this decision? That would have been probably a good question to have asked, but we'll see. He did say something that was kind of, I almost thanked him for saying it, but I was like, nah, I probably shouldn't thank him for that. But he was like, yeah, I never thought about it. Yeah. But, people who are alcoholics or have drug problems, they have human rights too. Yeah.
That just occurred to him.
Well, I don't know I don't think it just occurred to him, but I think that there's so much going on that it's probably just, you just don't think about a lot of little things. And of course, us being in recovery, we're beating that drum every day. Mm-hmm. So for us, that's top of mind, and we want to look out for our people. So
yeah,
I think I'd be a good addition, but we'll see. If not, I won't cry too hard about it. But
it won't. Then it wasn't meant to be. No big deal.
No, I'm not gonna be like, oh.
See, but give yourself credit for putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Give
it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important. I think that's important for anything. People who don't go to try to get jobs that they don't think they're qualified for. Mm-hmm. If you get set up with at least an interview, go for it. It's like you're cutting yourself out even before you're there.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
Believe in yourself.
What did Nicolas Cage just say in this last movie? Never shit on yourself. Never shit on yourself. He wasn't meaning like pooping his pants. He just meant, like never talk down to yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm such a loser. I'm never gonna get over this. I'm always gonna be a stupid drunk or a stupid junkie. No. Sometimes it feels like that. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to give yourself a pat on the back or praise. But yeah, man, if you got a day sober, man, that's sweet. Pat yourself on the back.
For sure.
I'm a big fan of that. And turn it into 2. Turn it into 3. Life gets better. I hit my 3.5 years the other day.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say anything. You have a little counter on your phone?
No, I just know that June 15th.
We were talking about that in group, about if counting days is important. It was good feedback. Some people do have apps on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
But then one woman said she has it, she says, but she doesn't feel really, what's the word? It doesn't strike her to look at it very often. Unless people ask her how much clean time she has, and she says she'll look at it. But I don't know how many days I have, like, to the day.
I know how many days you have to the day.
I'm sure you do. How many days do I have, honey?
1,023 days.
Wow.
In a row.
In a row.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good little streak you're on.
That's a lot of days.
Yep. I have 1,281. And my man Jamie Kelly has 488. Because I used to like keep all my friends in there, but he's the only one that's really kind of going with it still. Mm-hmm. That's how we do it, man. But yeah, so if you're new to the podcast, that's kind of what we do sometimes is we talk about recovery. We talk about our lives and just the kind of days. And some days are easy. Some days are tough. And some days are fun. Some days are sad, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's just what we do. But appreciate you listening. If this is your 8th or 25th episode, then you probably know a little bit about it more. But we are going to do a little movie review today of a blockbuster that just came out a couple weeks ago. And our reviews might shock you, or maybe they won't. But we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, though, I've been waiting to do this for a minute. Your birthday, your dad calls you, he leaves a voicemail, and that is where we get this clip right here from. Mm-hmm. Your dad was singing,
yeah,
and then he just busted out with, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, every year since I can remember, since I had a cell phone, he'll call me and leave me a voicemail that is him singing happy birthday.
Yes.
In a very, very Kalen, that's his name, very Kalen way.
It's
always the same.
It's precious.
It is precious.
You know?
It's precious. And one time I picked up the phone at one point and he's like, no, hang up. Hang up. I'm going to leave you a voicemail. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, before I just happened to not pick up the phone, but so it was cute.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Like 2 days before my birthday, I was like, I was like, if Kaylin calls me, I'm going to let it go to voicemail because I want to see if he sings me something or whatever he says. So I haven't even played it, and I feel bad. My birthday was last week, but I wanted to do it on the podcast, and then with the whole last podcast that you were actually here for, we didn't really have time to get into it, and had to go to the meeting, whatever. But so, without further delay, this is the message
from your father-in-law.
Yes, that I have not even played yet. It's on my phone. You haven't heard it. I haven't heard it.
Okay.
So here's the message from Kaylin from last week. My father-in-law.
Happy birthday to Corey. It was yesterday, but I don't got no story about why I didn't call yesterday. But at least I called today. I didn't know what I was doing either. Anyway, happy birthday, big guy.
Aww. That was funny. He did call a day late, but hey, yeah.
Aww,
I played
adorable.
it a week late. So. Yeah, that was cute. That was very nice of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your dad. He's funny. We're going to go to Pittsburgh, and I think your dad and I are we're going to get into some ghetto hood rat stuff.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
I don't know. A couple old white people
We're going to
walking
get
around.
ourselves into some trouble in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Find record shops, and what do I like? I don't know what I like, but.
Well, if there's any listeners who live in Pittsburgh, hit us up and tell us what there is to do there.
Yeah. I thought we could tour their little baseball stadium. I don't remember what it's called now. I used to remember it was like Three Rivers Stadium or something, but the Pittsburgh Pirates are actually on a long, like, wave stretch. I don't even remember what they call it, but they're not going to be home playing baseball games for like the whole month. And then the All-Star game, that's coming up, but that has nothing to do with it. But I figured, wow, cool, it'd be a good time to go tour the stadium. And they said, no, we have some other event going on. I said, what? There's no concert, nothing else? Like somebody just rented it out? I don't know.
You'll find stuff to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of going to be a turnaround trip. But.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. You'll be, I don't know how much bridesmaid stuff you'll be doing, but.
I think just the day before.
Well, we'll get into some. Maybe they got a wax museum. I don't know. Those are always fun.
Those are creepy.
Yeah, or maybe they have a real museum. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have alien stuff there.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, if you're in Pittsburgh or from Pittsburgh, been to Pittsburgh, if there's something that we should check out while we're in Pittsburgh, let us know.
Please do.
But yeah, thanks to your father for the birthday message. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that he put a song in there.
I know. You're part of the family. It's what he does. Like, you're going to get one every year.
I'd have been disappointed if he didn't.
Yeah.
I would have been. But cool. All right, got that taken care of finally. We can do the movie review now.
Okay.
Of a movie that you were very excited to see. I never got to see the trailer of it, but you did when we saw Top Gun 2, which, meh, my opinion. So you saw it and you're like, we're going to see it. So we went and saw this new movie, Jurassic Park, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. I don't know either. But the new one.
Yeah.
And we saw an IMAX. And I don't know, maybe that had something to do with it.
I didn't really care for the IMAX.
I don't know what it really did.
I don't know. I liked the digital, just regular digital AMC with the comfy seats that have the recliner that we saw in the Grand Rapids Theater.
Yeah, and
those were nice.
All the AMCs have those, unfortunately. But it was.
Corey's a tough critic, but it was definitely not very good.
No.
It was one of those, and it's not even one of those where you're like, it can never beat the first one, which you can't. It didn't even come close.
No.
So it wasn't put together very well. I don't know.
No, and I guess they're trying to mix, and I haven't been really up to date with my Jurassic Parks or Jurassic Worlds or whatever you want to call them. But this one, the two collide. Like they finally meet, I guess. The cast from the first Jurassic Park and then the newer versions of Jurassic Park. I don't know. It seemed like they just were out. They stretched so much to try to make all that fit and work. And it just, I don't know. It's like the storyline was kind of meh. But I was really disappointed with the actual dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. Like Jim Henson and the Muppets were better, more realistic. Yeah, Gonzo looked more realistic than these dinosaurs.
Ridiculous.
No, and the Dark Crystal.
I think that they were the same effects as the first one.
Fraggle Rock looked more realistic. No, they were not the same. The first one looked so much better. It looked real. These, I don't even know. They looked fake as hell. I don't know. And that's why I thought, well, maybe it's the IMAX thing making it look so fake or something. I don't know. But it looked really, really pathetic.
Here's the thing about going to movies is, yes, it makes it so much better if it's a fantastic movie, but it's still kind of just an event, which I think is fun. So, but yeah, if you're thinking about going, unless you just want the going out to the movies experience, probably need to wait for that one to come out.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that great.
You can stay home and rent The Unbelievable Weight of Massive Talent with Nick Cage. It's better than Pig. Don't ever rent Pig. Don't ever watch Pig. Don't waste your time with that movie. It's horrible. That's a disclaimer I have to throw out every time I mention that movie.
I know.
Because I want to warn people not to get tricked like I was. And I tricked you to watch it. But you were tricked. I didn't trick you to watch it. I didn't know it sucked. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, man, the guys in the ticket said this is a great movie. We got to watch it.
You didn't even finish watching it.
Yeah, we did.
You didn't?
I did.
I think you fell asleep.
I know. I watched it. But anyway, yeah, there are better options than Jurassic Park is what I'm saying. So, yeah, I was disappointed. On a completely different note, yesterday I had to transport somebody to treatment. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those from jail to treatment rides, which I like. I like getting people to a place that's going to help them and not let them just sit there and make more connections, but to a place where they can actually get the help. But this person had lost loved ones, and it just kind of reminded me of, and this person said they had 3 years clean until they started losing their loved ones, and it just sent this person to a spiral. And it just reminded me, like, wow, I better make sure I got my prayers lined up. Because I'm going to need a lot of them. And I just watched something today. I think it was called Shattered. It's like a TV series. It was horrible. Like this guy took his girlfriend. It was a business trip. I'm assuming they went to get money for weed or something. And they went from Texas to Mississippi. This guy was supposed to be his friend. Well, ends up killing him and then cutting his body up and feeding it to crocodiles and stuff. And I was like, what? Okay. But the dad said he stayed drunk nonstop after that.
Wow.
You know, and it's just like,
Was that a real story?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy. But it just reminded me of like that whole, just had this trip with this person that had some loved ones pass away, and then, something like that just tragically happened. And I was really thinking like, man, like if something like that happened to something, I don't know, man. I just hope that I'm able. And I was thinking as I was watching this TV show, I was just thinking through it like, well, I know it's not going to make anything better, but would I still have that effort? I just want to do it one more time. Is this like an excuse? I was thinking this stuff, like, would that be an excuse for me? Is that passable? Would I even care about my clean time?
Right. I think that's probably where people are coming from when that happens.
Yeah.
Is that the pain is so intense, the sadness and the despair and like nothing makes sense and it's not fair, and you feel left alone, and it's kind of like we know that's the only thing, maybe we think that's the only thing that's going to make it better, and it doesn't at all.
Yeah, and it wouldn't even be to make it better. It would be just to not think.
Oh, that's what I mean, is make it go, quote unquote, go away.
Because like, oh, here's the details of how your son was fed to crocodiles and alligators or whatever,
It doesn't even need to be that dramatic, obviously.
No, but I mean, just saying, like, if it even, it doesn't have to be, but holy cow, just thinking, oh my God, like, yeah, that's a tough one, and we've said it on the podcast many times. We can sit here and say, well, we don't sit here and say this, but we could, I'm never going to drink. I don't care what happens, and okay. I can't say that though.
Yeah, the reality is we have not been faced with that. So
no.
And that's what I can say, that when I have people share with me that they're going through things like that, because I have a lot of I interact with a lot of people on a daily basis, and that part of life is death, whether it's natural or unexpected or being an accident. I've been alongside people that they get through it. And all I can say is, I don't have any words really, except for, that sorry for your loss, and, that to stay clean and sober is a way to honor their memory. And they've been, majority of them are completely in agreement. And they're like, absolutely, that's exactly what they'd want. A lot of people have lost their parents recently, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's sad.
That's the person I was transporting. Lost the mother while they were in jail. And then a year ago, lost their spouse.
Anniversaries are hard for people too.
Yeah. So that'd be a tough one. And so the fact that going from jail to treatment is probably the best move, and it's cool that the judge in Grand Traverse County allowed that to happen and put this person on drug court.
Yeah. And wherever you are, I would suggest finding in your area, if you just Google or reach out to one agency, and if they don't have an answer for you, they might be able to refer you to maybe like a grief and loss group, where people who, are going through similar situations can get together. And it doesn't even need to have to be anything to do with being in recovery. Like it doesn't have to be a death from an overdose, although those exist too. But just, I know in our city we have, and I think they might be elsewhere also, is Michael's Place. But they're just kind of good atmospheres and environments to me, and some of them have actual homes that are available for people to just go and stop in, kind of like an Alano Club, where people can just go and hang out, and there's staff on duty if people want to talk. So look into that. That's something that, I think it would be helpful. I do a lot of referrals to that.
Yeah, someone has talked about Michael's house before. I don't know if it was you.
Michael's Place.
Yeah, somebody has talked about that on the podcast before, maybe a couple of years ago or something. I'm not sure, but I'm not too familiar with it. But yeah, it does sound familiar, and that's a great idea, Marnie. Just to reach out, to be connecting with somebody. Being alone and isolating.
It's not healthy.
No, but sometimes when you're hit like that with these crazy losses, that you just don't want to probably move off the couch or get out of bed, and
I'm going to take it upon myself to get somebody from Michael's Place to be on our podcast.
Look at you, girl.
Yeah, I'll make that happen.
That's what's up, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, you were just saying you haven't had anybody on the podcast in a while.
You haven't had any interviews.
I was like, yeah, I have. And then I couldn't remember. No, Jonah Frick was supposed to be on the podcast. Jonah is in recovery. Jonah, what did he have, 12, 13, 14? He's got some years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been on the podcast a few times, but he's a very funny guy. And he has this new book called Bradley, and it made it into like Amazon's top 10 or whatever, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Maybe not top 10, but it was top something. It might have made it in the top 10. But I was supposed to have him on, and I will here in probably this next week. I'll have him on to talk about his book. But he's really funny. He once went to jail for stealing somebody's pop cans because he needed money to get drugs. And he said the garage was open, and he saw some pop cans sitting there, and he thought, well, I'm going to take those, and that'll be a start of my drug money that I need. And got arrested and thrown in jail for. And in Michigan, if you're not from Michigan, you probably don't know this, but we have recycling, and they throw on 10 cents to every can you buy. So if you buy a 12 pack of Coke or whatever, it's $1.20 more. It's 10 cents a can. So you take those back to the store and you get your money back. So pop cans can be lucrative business. And so, yeah, I don't know. It was pretty funny when he told me that. It was just like, what? Like, how do you explain that to people? Like, why you in here?
Yeah.
Beat some dude up. Why you in here? Stole some pop cans. Like, it's just not like a hard ass thing to be in jail for, but it was one of those times that it kind of woke him up a little bit. Like, what am I doing with my life, man? But yeah, so he wrote a book, I'll say a year or two ago.
2 years ago, I think about.
Was it really? Man, time's flying.
Yeah.
Detox Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good book too. And then this one was a little darker, but we'll have Jonah on. He can explain the book a little more, but it came out on June 7th. So
cool.
If you're a reader and want to support somebody who's in recovery. And that's what I love about Jonah too, is he went back to school. Like he works in Battle Creek at this recovery agency place, helps people. I don't know the name of it, but he can talk about that if he wants when he's on the podcast. But he got his life back together, and then he's like, I want to write a book. You know how many people I've thought about writing a book a billion times, and people in recovery, we have some crazy stories. Some of them are funny, some of them are sad. And then we watch these movies and we're like, my story's better than that one, like at least that's how I feel sometimes. And it's just like Jonah actually put it together, and he's not really writing a book about his recovery. In his Detox Hotel, he said, then there is some truths in there as far as character wise, but to just put it together and go, I want to write a book. Mm-hmm. What's it take to do that? Oh, I don't know. Let me figure that out. And then for him to actually follow through and do it, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
That's very inspiring, and that's what I love about it, and that's why I want to have him on again. So, and I want to have him. He's going to be, and I don't want to. He is going to be one of the people on the TV show / whatever I'm going to make, because he's a comedy guy too, stand-up comedian, I guess. Mm-hmm. He's a bunch of things.
Cool.
So yeah, he's gonna be a part of that. I need to move forward with that, and maybe I can take some inspiration from Jonah. Do I know what I'm doing? Do I know how to do it? No, no clue. It doesn't mean I can't do it. It's like people who want to start a podcast. It's a lot of people like, oh man, I want a podcast. I want to start one. And they get behind the microphone and they're like, what do we talk about? What's going on? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what to talk about. Mm-hmm. It just happens. But if you sit down and you want to do it right, you can plan out your show. I would recommend that. That's what I used to do on the radio. Now we don't really have the time, I guess. I mean, we could, but I don't see you doing that. I think you'd punch me in the face. You'd say, no, I don't have time to sit down for an hour to go over what we're going to talk about and to research and look up stuff. And no. That's not even, and that's not what this podcast is about either.
Right.
If I wanted to polish a show like that, which I'm going to do soon as well, that's where that kind of stuff would come in. Mm-hmm. Like we would play drops or clips or interviews from people in recovery. Oh, here's Zac Efron talking about his recovery and blah, blah, blah. And then maybe go off of that or something, Like we do stuff that's more put together, more polished.
Yeah.
But this is just a podcast about us and our recovery and things that we go through. So it's a lot different. But if you get that idea of I want to do this, don't let the fear scare you. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not good enough. I don't know. There's tons of different sites you can go to. Spreaker is who we use. My friend Ron uses Buzzsprout, I think it's called. I thought it was Beancast. I don't know. There's so many of them out there. But Ron loves his, and maybe I should have him on just to talk about podcasting one day.
Yeah.
He's making a movie about radio. It's a documentary, and it's supposed to be out soon. And we're going to see him in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Hopefully, we can meet up with him before we go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But he stays over there by Detroit, so anyway, there's a lot that can be done, and maybe I should reach out to people like that more. And Ron's not in recovery. Well, he's in recovery from Fort Smith, Arkansas. That's what I'll tell him. I'm like, hey, I want you on the podcast. They'll be like, Corey, I'm not in recovery. I'm like, yes, you are. From Fort Smith, Arkansas, you are. But no, but have people like him on that, that just go chase their dreams.
I think that's totally applicable.
How many people laughed at him or snickered when he's like, I want to make a documentary about people in radio. Okay, Ron. Yeah, okay, man. And he did it. Like that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like I said, we just give up. And yeah, I've given up on a lot of things too. But since I've been sober, not as much. I just keep coming up with more ideas. I think that's my problem.
I think that is your problem. I think you just identified that.
Yeah. It just clustered. I have just imagine this empty field and then me just taking a bag and putting a bag in it every day. And then I have this garbage landfill over here of just stuff that I want to do, which is good, I think.
I think it's good. I think that eventually you'll kind of zero in on one project in particular and then maybe just work on that.
I'll pray about it. But when I did pray about it, that's when I had the dream about the comedy show and putting together the TV show thing. And why not?
Why not?
I did pray about it and then I had that dream. Want to hear something creepy? Well, I did tell you about this. So on Wednesdays, I talk at the local men's treatment center. Mm-hmm. And as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, I was like, I should talk about helping others and how you ask people to help you and just the difference between being told what to do and asked what to do and then just doing it on your own. The different ways you'll feel. So I'm thinking about this and there's a person in there who I'm familiar with and I was like, man, I can have that person grab the trash and put it in the middle of the room. Or maybe I'll take the trash and put it in the middle of the room, or I'll take the trash and put it by him. And then I'll start talking about, now I can ask him, I can tell him, hey, take the trash out. He's probably not going to like that. Nobody really likes being told what to do. Mm-hmm. I could suggest it to him. Hey, it would make the room smell better if you took the trash out. And then I could ask him, hey, I'm up here. I'm allergic to trash, and there's trash there. Could you do me a favor, and could you take that trash out? You know, and I'm going through all this, like, all right. And then I was like, no, I'm not talking about that. That's stupid. It'll just be dumb. I'll talk about something else. And I get there, I sit down, I look up, and the trash is full, and it's sitting right by his feet.
That's crazy.
I know. I was like, the hell? I guess we're talking about the trash after all. And then something else just like that happened again the other day, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was just like, wait a minute. Like, this is too much of a coincidence. Or maybe I have psychic powers.
Maybe.
And I just will things in my mind. I'm just adding zeros to my bank account right now. Go ahead and check that in a minute. No, but that was kind of creepy though, and it was like a God thing. Like, no, this is what God wants to talk about. So, yeah, I'll get on that with the comedy TV show. But yeah, if you're funny and you're in Michigan, you don't even actually have to be in Michigan. We can do it online. You can record a video and send it to me.
Yeah,
I'll explain the
process.
process.
Anybody does stand up.
Yeah,
please get a hold of us.
Yeah, and you'll see what we're kind of doing. It's like stand up / recovery stories. But
are you calling it stand up for recovery?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or recovery stories. One of those two. It depends. I don't know. It has a working title. Work in progress. Yeah, because the story thing would be cool, but I also want it to be like on a comedy stand-up stage, or at least something similar, so it feels more like stand-up. But I just want people to tell stories. I don't want them to get up there and be like, "Hey, knock knock, who's there?" You know. Yeah. I don't want them telling jokes. I want them to tell them stories that are just funny.
Right.
We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm going to make candles maybe today.
Okay. I thought you were making T-shirts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, T-shirts.
Or both. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Or maybe we'll watch
Saturday.
Another Nicolas Cage movie. Who knows?
Who knows?
The options. Limitless. But thanks for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. There's other podcast episodes that you can listen to that are more, I guess, recovery related. This had a little bit in there, but again, this is your first time listening. Feel free. We have 676 something, a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And if you have our 217 recovery app, which is free, get the free app. There's your readings from AA. If you're an AA guy, you get your readings on there, make it real easy for you to pull them up. And every podcast we've ever done, except for a couple that I've deleted, but they're all on there from when we started 3 years ago. So, and the crew was a little different then, but yeah, there's stuff for you for sure. So appreciate you, and share us with your friends.
Share us with your friends, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Win a bunch of free shit from 217 Recovery. Go to the app or the website, 217recovery.com.